Yeah. So we're the modern day slaves. They call it employees. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they still finding a way to distract us from our actual self.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the it was a book I read. Shit. Well, audiobook because I ain't got time to read like I want to. So I listen to audiobooks, you know what I'm saying? Just to
Right.
keep my mind. I need some intelligent shit in my head. And
Right.
I think it was called The Masters of Self, but it's by the same
Mm-hmm.
author that made the Four Agreements. And
Okay.
it talks about the labels that we no, it's one of the Four Agreements. The labels that we agree to.
Mm-hmm.
Um the terminology of what man is. There's a definition behind that shit, and we subscribe to that.
Mm-hmm.
Woman, husband, wife, you know what I mean? Employee, bus driver, you know what I'm saying? Whatever label that you, all these are different labels that we have. We have multiple of definitions that we subscribe to. It's a law now that we have to subscribe to that, and that's not really us.
Right.
Obviously, we don't know who the fuck we really are. Z, that's it. Z here. My bad, bro. I didn't even see you. Just got. How long you was there?
Little man, it's all good.
Okay, we're talking about labels right now. You missed about. Well, I'll catch you back up real quick. We talking about a 24-hour day. What are you doing a 24-hour day? And how much time do you have for yourself?
I mean, 10, 8 hours of that is spent, or 9 hours of that is spent at work. I'm fortunate to work for a Black organization. So I don't necessarily, I always used to call you, you know what I'm saying, on my breaks or whatever, man. You'd be like, yo, what you up to? I'll be like, man, at the plantation waiting to get off, and I don't say that anymore, because I work for an organization that works for us. So I feel as though my time is being spent a little bit more wisely than it has in the past when I worked simply for a check. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely working for a check, but when there's a bit of a greater purpose behind your work, I think that is empowering, and it makes it something that is less of a job and more so of a passion.
Mm-hmm.
But my days are tight, man. Like, especially like my weekdays, like literally, I mean, I work 8 until 4. On Mondays, I lead a 30-mile bike ride. On Tuesdays, from 10 to
that should
yeah.
be. Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, on Tuesdays from 7:30 until 10, I'm hosting my open mic. Shout out to Art in the Fly Space at the Detroit
Oh, the
Shipping
fly
Company.
space. What up?
You know what I'm saying? Every Wednesday, I'm leading another bike ride. Every other Thursday, I have my podcast, and really Friday through Sunday are really my only free days. So
We're talking about a 24-hour day period. We're not even talking about the whole week. 24-hour day.
Yeah.
How much time do you have to yourself?
None. I mean, whatever time whatever time I sneak in at the end of the day,
you gotta sneak your shit in.
I find solitude and tranquility in a lot of my activities, man. Like, I host an open mic, right? So I'm a poet, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I also am a cyclist, and those are activities that require a level of, dedication to be able to do them consistently. So
for sure.
I've accumulated a couple of healthy highs that, kind of take my mind off of the tedious nature of my schedule.
God.
Great.
God, well, that's great. Good for you, nigga.
It took a minute, man. Like it's not any it took a minute, man. And like there are a lot of things that I miss out on because of like the intensity of my schedule. But like they're just certain things that I don't really, certain things I don't really reschedule, certain things I don't really jeopardize. Like I look at those things as me time, even though it's, serving other people and I'm leading other people on a ride and I'm hosting a show or whatever and all of that. But like that's still, I look at that as it's like personal therapy time. It doesn't always go that way.
That's therapy for you.
Yeah,
I gotta say the cycling because it's an individual race and stuff like that. So I understand that. But poetry, that's therapy to you, not on you on the aspect of writing and reciting, but for engaging with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely,
Okay.
man. I love not even necessarily so much the aspect of being on stage and facilitating the show, but I love building community. And I love the relationships that formulate through the show, you know, like the connections and all of that, and the people and the perspectives, and the inspiration that comes from listening to other people's work. You know, so yes, it's all therapeutic. Now, you know, it doesn't necessarily always go that way. Like, you know, I had a show, you know, week before last where, you know, two people that I consider both of them to be friends got into it, right? And it, you know, completely, you know, turned from therapy to y'all niggas need therapists, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it's not, most of the time it's, you know, it's copacetic and it's a good vibe and everybody respects each other and all of that, man. So it ends up being less of a babysitting situation and more of, you know, just peers kicking it and you know, sharing art.
Okay.
You remember how the Urban Beanery used to be out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was you know, even though it was a little more stressful for me as a host, like that's therapy, man. Like we need spaces like that. We don't have you know, spaces in our community where we just go and organically kick it and just share ideas and share knowledge and share stories and share thoughts. You know, we might do that for 20 minutes when we're in the barber chair. We might do that for 60 minutes when we're at the salon, sis. But like when it just comes to like going someplace to build with other people, like, you know, that doesn't necessarily happen organically. So I would say spoken word spaces and, you know, spaces that, you know, curate storytelling and poetry and those sorts of things are kind of the last really front that we have as a safe space is you know, predominantly Black people to really share ideas freely and without fear of being judged or being chastised or, you know, being cast out based on other people having a difference of opinion.
How long does that take to do your spoken word?
Like, to what you mean?
Host it to close to get home and get some rest.
I get there at 7:30. Show starts at 8. The venue closes at 10. You know what I'm saying? So we always take it like right till 10 or whatever. And then, you know, we typically have you know, cocktails or, you know, something to eat afterwards. You know, I don't eat before the show or whatever. I typically eat afterwards, man. So that usually brings me home around like 11 or midnight. And
What time you get up?
10.
Oh fuck, that's nice. What time you get up, B?
What time I get out of where? On
What time
what
you get
day?
up in the morning?
Oh, what time I get up?
Up? That's not what you said, bro. You said what time
No, you said what time you get out.
You asking the questions and not listening to the answers, bro. I got
No, y'all didn't hear what I said.
Oh, what time I get up? Oh, what time you get up, B?
My alarm go off at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
with the intent of going to the gym at 6, being at the gym at 6 a.m.
Love that.
How does that work? That's working for you?
Let's just say the past 2 weeks, me and my trainer been on some BS.
Got you. Is Jane your trainer?
Oh no, I have this guy, he actually just finished school for he's doing physical therapy for a cardiology program.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
All right, cool. I get up at 4 in the morning every day. Oof. Besides the weekends. You know?
That's hard.
Yeah, man. I know, right? That sucks, right? I mean, to drive people around. Yeah. I get up 4 in the morning every day, man. And I don't like getting, but then my next schedule is gonna be cool. I'll get up at I gotta be to work at 6, so I get a little bit more sleep because my life is so, like, I wouldn't say hectic, but distracted that I had to find time to, you know what I'm saying, find time for myself. Now, yeah, the personal therapy is me curating and everything like that. I like doing that. You know what I'm saying? But cooking, cleaning, shitting, taking my son different places, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even having conversations with my wife about how was work today, honey? You know, so that took that takes like probably like a whole hour for her to let me know exactly.
Yeah. Depending on the day.
Yeah. Work today. That this takes time. You know what I'm saying? And I dedicate my time to listen. You know what I mean? And but now we're talking about labels, Z. So we're talking about there's different in this book called 4 Agreements. They talk about everything that's labeled we agree to the labels that's given to us. You know what I'm saying? Like man, woman, employee, poet, artist, you know, career driven. So all these different labels have all these different definitions about it, and we agree to it. We want to keep on piling this onto ourselves, but that's not really who we truly are. Oh,
Are you said like man and woman and those sorts of things are labels?
yeah. I mean, what man, you have certain characteristics. You know what I'm saying, that you supposed to, like, you know what I'm saying, abide by in order for you to see like you're supposed to be a man, right?
Mm-hmm. Like you're because you have certain biological traits that make you a man. You're supposed to conduct yourself a certain way in society.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You are a writer. You know what I'm saying? You subject yourself to this particular style of writing and stuff like that. If you choose to do it, you agree to it. You know what I'm saying? Brandy's a woman. She has to like give herself a certain definitions of the certain definition of what a woman is. Whoever conditioned that label for us to read and understand it,
Mm-hmm.
we are, you know what I'm saying, applying that shit to ourselves, and we believe that this is who we are. Or I could say that I'm a Muslim. Okay, there's you know what I'm saying, there's different deans and ayats and surahs that we subscribe to because of the information that was put out there. It said that you have to be just like that. This is what you're. This is who you. This is what you labeled in. You're stuck in. There's no fucking decision after that, and that's not truly who you are.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're a husband or you're a wife and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you subscribe to these labels without any type of bylaws and say this is who you actually are. There's no ifs ands but about it. If you fuck up and you don't and you fuck up, there's no room for emotional intelligence and there's no room for cheating or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? It's finito. You're done. Goodbye, because you fucked up the label, because this is what we agreed to, because it's the label that they told you that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're talking about. So what's your thoughts about that?
I think a lot of labels exist for a reason. I think society bucking those labels has us in a complete clusterfuck right now. We had an entire movement of people that identified differently than their labels. And, with respect to them, I think that there's a lot of mental illness at play in that, in the different types of dysmorphias that people have. I think so when it comes to biological parameters, I think that people should probably stick with those. I think that doing other than that is messing with God. If you need technology to be something different than you are, then you probably should be whatever the hell it is you are. Unless you were born with some sort of mutation and you got a cleft palate or you need something like that or whatever. I'm not talking about people like that. But if you are a duck and you over there looking at a frog and you feel like you're the frog, like you should be in therapy as opposed to a surgeon, in my opinion. But when it comes to the different labels of like a man saying what a real woman is or a woman saying what a real man is, the social labels, the labels that society puts on us based off of things that are not as static as biological proclivities. Yeah, I think that there should be wiggle room for that. I don't necessarily like boxes. I put myself in the box of being a man, and I put myself in the box of being a black man. Other than that, I appreciate the freedom of thought and the freedom of choice to be independent and think and become whatever it is that you set your heart on, or that you truly decide that you want to be here in this world. But I think that there are limits to that, and my limits to that are biology. But so societally speaking, shoot for the stars.
It's funny you brought this up because I just remembered I was watching this I was watching this podcast actually where they talk about relationships a lot, but this woman was talking about how she does a lot of matchmaking and stuff like that. And she was saying how she helps individuals, males and females, describe who they are beyond a mom, beyond a Black woman, a Black man, and like really describing who you are as a person. And I think that's really hard for people to do. Like, for me, I struggled when I became an empty nester. I'm like, I've been living my whole life running kids around and stuff. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? What do you like? How do you show up? But what do you, and she was describing it in a way like, what do you bring to the relationship beyond, I make this amount of money, or I look this way, or I can do this. What do you truly bring to the table, beyond your title or superficial things? So I think that's something that, and that's forever changing too, because I'm not the same person I was yesterday.
Real talk.
So
I think we change every 5 years.
just every 5 years, that's it.
I mean, it could be every day because nothing stays the same. You know what I'm saying? Nothing stays the same, man. You could be like frolicking in the wood. I mean, in green pastures, smell the roses and or sunflowers, and keep running la, and just run right into a brick wall, and now you just totally bloody. Arms just broken. You like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get up. Yeah. What?
As a cyclist and motorcyclist, yeah, that hits home. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't want to hit a wall. You know what I mean? But you also got to live
right, and then you get fucked up, right?
Yeah, terrible, man. Scary hours.
Yeah, scary hours, man. Yeah, we had like it's like, what do you do? What is your what is your way to find your true self? Z, you said poetry is your escape, correct? And
Poetry
cycling, right?
and poetry and cycling, yeah.
Okay. What's your escape, B?
I'm still trying to find a healthy escape. To be honest with you, it's a struggle. I'd be so tired after problem solving at work and things, and I've been fighting. This gonna sound, I've been fighting all my life not to be a leader. But everywhere I go, everywhere I show up, no matter what job I'm at, I end up getting promoted. I end up being a leader. And it's just very taxing and tiring to be the leader at work and then have to be the leader at home. So not having that break is draining to me.
So do you feel like a used battery?
Sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, why y'all coming and asking me questions? Why I gotta have the answers? Figure it out. So I've been shifting how I approach supervising to just more empowerment and teaching, and not always giving the answers, but giving people the tools to come up with the answers. So people don't solely rely on me all the time.